Get down for you. The reason why I made a YouTube originally was I thought to myself, hell, if PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, or those guys can do it, hell, I can do it. Because hell, my line of work involves me actually getting bruised and hurt and bleeding, and it was my way of trying to break free from the system. I thought that maybe, just maybe, I could somehow use YouTube to get to the point to where I can. Well, my plan with YouTube was to become monetized, and as soon as I become monetized, try and start making my own business. And then if I got bigger, like these big YouTubers, I would use the money to invest in homesteads, try and break free more from the system. But I guess I shouldn't have talked about that originally because now the system knows that I'm trying to break free from it. And it doesn't like that. It doesn't recommend my stuff much anymore because it doesn't want people to realize that, hey, you could get out of the system. You could become your own boss. You can go out there and not be a slave wage worker like those poor people at the Amazon warehouse last year that got killed because Jeff Bezos and all those Amazon CEOs told them if they went home they would be fired. And out of fear, they stayed there and lost their lives working at slave wages with a boot on the back of their neck, holding them down under the water until they can't breathe. And then they let them up at the very last second to get a gasp of air, just only to shove them right back down again. The society we live in is not a very productive society for people that want to try to be something more than a subservient slave to the system. And the things I say right now are pretty deep because some people would say, well, shut up, just get back to work. But those are the people that are programmed and they're subservient. All they would do is be like, if you come back to work right now, I'll give you a 15-cent raise. Oh my God. Oh, that's a couple dollars in a day. And instead, they sell their souls to the point to where they don't realize they're being used and they stay in a system, and then they move to residential communities where they're sandwiched together like animals at a pound. They don't even realize what they're doing. They're paying so much money to live in a residential community instead of actually trying to break free and do a homestead. They're paying into the system that enslaves them, and they don't even realize it. That was my point behind YouTube, was trying to break free from the system by having my foot in the door to be able to kick it wide open after I put my foot in there. And I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't think that's going to happen. Not that I don't have the trust that I can do it. It's just that there's no fucking way I'm able to do it now. The way that they're putting things up, the way that it's controlled on here is that they're trying to make it to where only celebrities and big YouTubers get recommended. So even if you are the best damn YouTuber there is, you're not going to get recognized. You have a better chance on TikTok of being recognized than on this website now. I got to say that sadly, this has turned into an elitist website. It only helps the ones that are already big. If you're small and you're starting now, they'll say, yeah, you could do it. No, you can't. The algorithms made it that way. I recommend your best chance is TikTok right now. Do it now. Because if you don't, you're going to regret that you didn't start when it was still a baby boomer. Because remember, when YouTube first started, no one thought anything of it. And now, You don't really have a chance unless if you have a Hollywood studio and a production crew and A-list YouTubers on your live stream, you know? Anywho, it's not that I'm trying to discourage you from trying to be a good YouTuber. It's just that I'm saying the website is rigged now. It is freaking rigged. And if you're trying to break free from the system, and they know that you're trying to break free from the system, they're going to make sure that your life is a living hell because they want subservient slaves that are drones that don't think outside the box. You know, that is, they want people to think basically like the person that does exactly as they're told, doesn't have hopes, doesn't have dreams, just becomes a product of society, you know. There's nothing about them. No soul, no personality really. The same clothes, lined up in a uniform, the same haircuts, you know? No individuality, no soul. They sold their soul for the dollar. And when they die, all they will be known of is a slave wage worker. Anyone can be anything they put their mind to. But the society has got people so dragged down in the mud, they don't realize that they can do it. And this is why I've never gave up on actually social media because I know that things can happen overnight. And they, my whole family doesn't think I'm going to do good on here. They tell me to give up on this whole social media because it's not going to go anywhere. And problem is with that is they're not thinking outside the box. They're thinking the way they've been programmed by the system, you know. Ideas, you got to think outside the box in order to get away from this society of where people become entrapped in a world where they can't break free in a sense because they're so focused on the materialism in society, the fancy car, the big giant house, and they chase that their whole life. But by the time you're done paying, that's 30 years. Let's say if you started when you were 40, you'll be an old decrepit man still paying for that system, that house. The best advice I can give you out there watching is get a tiny house, get some land. Don't try and be flashy. Don't try to be a. I'm not saying don't reach for the sky, but what I'm saying is in order to live life and be less relied on the system is basically being more free from the system. Um, it's just basically you gotta keep on going and think more outside the box. Hi, Christina. Hi, honey. Um, what I'm saying is basically try and make a homestead. You know, try to grow your food, dig a well, get a cheap house that's nice but efficient. You don't need a mansion. This stuff is greed and it keeps people entrapped longer and working to feed corporations that don't give shit about their workers. You know, sometimes it's better to be poor than to be a slave.